Kremer?
Well, I mean, I think you're right on Congressman Cohen, and, you know, we see it time and time again that the liberals can't debate the issue, so what do? They resort to personal attacks, and thankfully the Constitution allows him to speak his mind, but also it allows us freedom of religion, freedom of speech, and the Second Amendment, the right to own guns. So I think you're dead on there. On the Congress issue and defunding Obamacare, Bill, I have to disagree with you because, you know, this is a law, it's a bad law that continues to get worse every day, as we're seeing with more and more people taking away benefits from their employees, cutting their hours back, that sort of thing. And the president himself has already delayed portions of this law for big business, for Congress, special interests. Why not do the same for the middle class average Americans?
Okay, because
why not delay it for a year?
I will tell you, Ms. Kremer, what you are trying to do, the Tea Party is trying to do, is impossible. So do you not know that? The Senate is not going to go along, even if the House were to vote to defund Obamacare, which it will not. All right, and it will not for political, tactical reasons. I mean, the Republican leadership, Speaker Boehner and the others, well know that if the government were shut down by some kind of defunding, that independence that the Republican Party needs to gain in the 2014 elections would be angry. So it's not going to happen. You must know it's not going to happen. You must know the Senate wouldn't go along with it, but you still want to do it. And I'm saying to you, I just think it's destructive to your cause. Do you see my point?
Well, the thing is, I don't want to shut down the government. I want to defund Obamacare.
It's not,
and I understand,
don't know why you don't understand me. The Senate is not going to do it. It isn't.
But everybody said the House wasn't going to do it too, and now we're bringing it to the
I just want you on a record.
Vote.
You believe, Amy Kremer believes, that the Senate of the United States, as it is comprised today, would vote to defund Obamacare. You believe that?
I believe that if we fight, we can get those Democrats that are in those red states that are up for re-election to listen to their constituents.
Mr. Blakeman, you weigh in on a question. Do you believe that the Senate can be convinced, as Ms. Kremer does, to defund Obamacare?
No, and here's why, Bill. I deal with things not as I wish them to be, but as they are. And you correctly point out, we have divided government. Yes, the Republicans control the House, and they can vote 80 times to defund Obamacare. The Senate will stop them. And do you think the president is going to give up? Just wave the white flag on his signature legislation?
Veto, even if it did pass, Ms. Kremer,
Absolutely
he'd veto
not.
it. Right.
So you know what you got to do? You got to think strategically. And what Republicans better do is they better understand we must live to fight another day. And that day is 2014 in the midterm elections. Field good candidates. Have good policies. Let's take back the Senate, increase our odds in the House of getting a better majority, and then we put the president in a box for 3 years. But we have to deal with the hand that we're dealt and not the hand that we wish we had, because we don't have it.
Does it make sense, Ms. Kremer, for the Republican Party to get candidates who believe the way you do, that Obamacare is a pernicious law and should be defunded and basically thrown out? Have them run on that ticket, all right, and then win, as Mr. Blakeman suggests, and then accumulate power so that you might do something. But again, President Obama will veto. He's in there for 3 years. He's going to veto anything. Wouldn't that make more strategical sense, Ms. Kremer?
Well, I think that we are fighting on that front, too. We're just not talking about that. What we're talking about right now is defunding Obamacare. And everybody talks like the Republicans want to say we want to shut down the government. No, the president and Harry Reid have both said they are going to shut down the government if we don't roll back the sequester. Bill, we're willing to compromise. We're giving him a CR that totally funds the government and continues his deficit spending. And in return, we want to delay Obamacare for a year. I don't think that's unreasonable.
I don't know what I have to do, or Karl Rove has to do, or Brad Blakeman has to do to tell you not going to happen. So, you know, it would be like, and you'll identify with this, Amy, it would be like MSNBC saying, you know, at 8 o'clock, we're going to beat the O'Reilly factor next week. Okay? It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. They can try to make it happen, and in that case, it wouldn't harm them. But in this case, if the Republican Party is deemed by independents and conservative Democrats to be fanatical and unreasonable, then you do hurt your cause. Now, Mr. Blakeman, a guy like Cohen and the liberal press, I mean, they work together. I mean, that gives the propaganda a tremendous value, because a lot of people don't I would submit to you, if you did a poll now, that maybe 40% of the American people would think an assault rifle was used in the Navy Yard massacre. They would think that it was used.
Well, this is what the liberal media does, and this is why Cohen will not face you, is because they'll throw up all this propaganda and lies and then hide behind their lies. The American people are getting wise now, Bill. Look at every poll. If it wasn't for bad news, Obama doesn't make news. The American people are finally understanding, whether it's the economy, whether it's foreign affairs, this president is absolutely incompetent to have the hope and change that he promised them. And who's hurting the most as we speak today in 2013? The Obama supporters, the youth, the minorities,
right.
the very people who supported him the most.
But they're not going to change unless the Republican Party offers them a very clear way to change.
You're right.
And for those of you who want to yell at me and send bad emails, you know, okay, just read Rove's column in the Wall Street Journal before you do that. Ms. Kremer, thank you. Mr. Blake.